I will confess that for several years, I was using the terms climate change and global warming interchangeably, and then I discovered that I was making a mistake. They are different phases of the process. Incoming radiation from the sun comes through the atmosphere, and it reaches the surface of the Earth. It gets transformed into longer wavelength heat energy radiation, and that radiates back outwards. By increasing the concentration of those greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, what we're doing is simply warming our atmosphere, and that's the global warming. And that global warming then results in climate change, which is driving a whole array of consequences.
So climate change is the consequence of human actions that is causing changes in the climate. And it's difficult to understand because it's not always obvious. There's changes in weather patterns, and then you hear, oh, climate change isn't happening. But this is a very long-term trend in terms of records that we've been taking. And we are seeing changes in the climate. We are seeing more extreme events. We are seeing differences. And this is caused by an increased amount of greenhouse gas emissions in the atmosphere caused by humans.
If the climate projections occurred as they were being proposed, what this would do is shift the climate out of the range which supports these natural ecosystems across the planet. And what that would do would compromise the existence of those natural ecosystems where they currently occur. Unfortunately, we're imposing climate change at a rate which is faster than natural ecosystems can easily keep up. What that is likely to do is lead to the extirpation of the species of that natural ecosystem in that location.
Morels don't come up at the same time that they used to, or in the plentiful way that they used to. The irrigation ditches don't fill many times in many years. Snowpack has been reduced. We had one season where Mount Ashland was never able to even open. And so we were already seeing, if you looked in nature, the impacts of climate change.
Our geographic region is going to shift the temperature out of the range that our current woodland, grassland kind of natural ecosystems can tolerate.
Yeah, so this is the stump of a Douglas fir.
Right, so this was a beautiful towering Douglas fir that was with our house for a long time. So basically it died partly, after the big heat dome event. There's lots of Douglas firs that have died. If you go in the woods above here, you'll see many trees with the same, fungus stuff on it, the same different coloration pattern and so on. And all those have been killed.
What we're seeing is a considerable die-off of Douglas firs, probably a consequence of the climate change, how that climate change has mediated population size of bark beetles. Once a tree is stressed, the bark beetles zero in on it, and the problem becomes positive feedback loop.
Why do we care about climate change? Climate change won't stop the planet from spinning and won't wipe life off the planet. When you really get down to climate change and why it's important to humans. We have a very narrow range of optimum temperatures and resources that we need. There's a lot of naysayers that say we've had these cycles before, and they're correct. We have had some very warm periods. Cretaceous was one of them. But we've never had the rate of change that we are seeing now. The fossil record, it shows rate of change, and it is millennial level. The rate of change we are seeing since the Industrial Revolution is decadal level. So we are speeding things up by a factor of 10 again. At some level, everyone is being affected by climate change at this point. It leads to food insecurity, it leads to challenges with growing crops, and gets back to this idea that if we want to live on this planet at the density that we do, we have to acknowledge that climate change is one of the forces working against that.